It's Luke and Naomi.
All right, we have a great review this time. I know it seems a little weird because it's Apollo 13.
Why is that weird?
Well, I don't know. It might, because like a dramatic movie. I don't know. But I can tell you, watching Naomi, she was just enthralled with this for quite a while. Great podcast, great movie. You're listening to a great podcast.
That's right.
How about that? Great movie, great cast.
Yes.
I think that's where I was trying to go, and I just threw pod in front of there. But anyway, I'm Luke Austin. That's Naomi Lynn. It is Luke and Naomi on air, featuring Naomi's Under a Rock reviews. If you've seen Apollo 13, relive your first watch through Naomi's eyes. If you've never seen it either, should you watch it?
I'll let you know.
She will let you know after telling you everything that happens in the movie.
That's right. Well, I mean, there's still a reason to watch it after I explain all the details.
Absolutely.
Because I miss a lot of stuff.
Do you know how many times people will tell me, they'll send messages, or I'll see somebody and they'll be like, oh, I had to go watch it again immediately.
Yeah, because you forget things and you're like, oh, yeah, I want to watch that movie. It's been a while.
That's right. So let Naomi reignite that passion for Apollo 13.
That's right.
A stacked cast, really, really stacked cast. So that's coming up in just a little bit. The NFL draft was over the weekend. And
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever, right? And that was a hell of a lot of fun just for the whole Deion Sanders' children drama. I guess not for Shiloh, his younger of the two, I think, got drafted to Tampa, and like all was good.
Okay.
But the quarterback, Shador, that whole situation was hilarious. Do you know about what went down with all of that?
I know a little bit, but not the whole details.
He was very much hyped up to go in the first round. Not only the first round, like top 5 picks, and he slid to, I think it was the 5th round when the Cleveland Browns finally drafted him. And everybody watched all weekend long, and then some kid prank called him, and that became a thing. I don't know if that was released out on the TikTok and
probably
Instagram verse or whatnot, but somebody prank called them saying they were from the Jets or something like that, and that's kind of rough. I don't know. I kind of, putting myself in his shoes, I'd feel a little bad about that. The whole world's kind of laughing at you a little bit.
Like way too cocky and kind of
arrogant
about all this?
Some people say that the sources on that have been anonymous. I kind of agree with Kyle Brandt from the NFL Network. He went on this awesome rant where he was like, hey, listen, if you're going to put something like that out there and potentially ruin a kid's career, which he's not gonna, but whatever, put your name on it.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm kind of in that camp, but still.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten so used to you can hide behind a keyboard and nobody has to know who you are.
Right.
Like it reminds me of Parks and Rec, where Ron Swanson hates like the vegan restaurants and all of that stuff, and so he starts sending angry letters, but he puts his name on it.
Yeah, and I think address or like where he works or something like that too.
Yeah, he's just like,
do
what
that.
are you gonna do? Like, come find me? Yeah, that's exactly what I had to say.
Do that. Be like, no, I'm the GM of this team, and
I think
it was
you're
a terrible
arrogant.
interview.
Yeah.
And then like some people have said like he did it on purpose. Teams he didn't want to go. Who knows?
Whatever.
Who knows? Either way, he's the second quarterback drafted by the Browns over the weekend. And that in and of itself is hilarious because now the Browns have something like 11 quarterbacks on their roster.
Oh, perfect.
I think realistically it's 5. So that was awesome. I am extremely happy with Dallas's draft because they didn't do anything to make the media talk about him at all.
Perfect.
Took some really good, solid, foundational type players that you want out of a draft. So I'm very happy with that. And then the rest of it was just
boring.
Yeah, just boring.
Yep.
Something to have on in the background.
Yeah.
That's what I used to get excited when it was on a Saturday because you get the first 2-3 rounds and then you go your own, But now it's just like, here you go, 6 weeks of NFL draft.
Yeah.
But one step closer to the new season.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You not excited for that?
I'm not. I'm kind of tired with football and all of that stuff.
I know, right? You don't
Too
get a
much
break
sports
from it.
on lately between hockey playoffs and the NBA and blah,
right.
blah, blah. I'm all sports out.
Go Knicks, up 3-1 on Detroit.
Yep.
Let's see what happens. Go Knicks. There's no way they can win the whole thing this year, but it's nice to see them winning a couple of playoffs games. Playoffs games? Playoffs game?
I was just going to let you keep going. You were fine.
All right. Let's get to your recurrent dose of Did You Know? I got some random facts for episode 113.
Lucky number 113.
Are you I like the number 13 person, or is it superstitious for you?
It's not superstitious for me.
I'm just now realizing episode 113, Apollo 13.
That is just a weird coincidence.
Wow.
It really is.
Awesome.
Is it 1300 hours? No, it's not.
Crazy. All
It would
right.
be 1 o'clock.
Now I'm stoked. I'm super excited. All right. Your recurrent dose of Did you know West Virginia, the only remaining state that doesn't ban bestiality.
They're also the last state to have humans working in toll booths.
Oh my God. And they take like cash. It's just the most complicated thing. Nobody has cash anymore. They want cash. If you've got a credit card, they're like, no.
They're going to charge you $40 for mailing the toll road bill to you as well.
You got to fill out like more forms than your taxes and all of that stuff.
Terrific.
Did you know after Top Gun came out, the number of men joining the Navy to become naval pilots went up 500%?
Wow. That's crazy.
Everybody felt that need for speed.
I guess so.
Did you know ventriloquism started as a religious practice?
Huh.
We're talking ancient Greece.
Okay.
But they called
That
it...
doesn't make it better.
The Greeks called it gastromancy. Gastromancy is how it's spelled. So I want to say gastromancy, but whatever. They believed the ventriloquist was getting messages from spirits in their stomach and revealing them through a dummy.
Okay. That makes sense. Sure.
Which is... Did you know the original name for Frank Sinatra's song New York, New York was Theme from New York, New York? And it was the theme song for Martin Scorsese's movie New York, New York in 1977.
Okay.
So that version was performed by Liza Minnelli. Sinatra re-recorded his own version in 79, and that became the one that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the NHL, finally, did you know the NHL Stanley Cup can hold 23 12-ounce beers?
Did not know that.
Of course, they know that because that's what you do, right?
You drink out of it. Yes.
Also, it can hold more than 2,000 Monopoly hotels.
Okay.
I love that.
Huh.
Like you say, 23 beers. And it's like, yeah, it makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
But the Monopoly hotels is what people are like, what the hell?
Yeah. That's where I draw the line. Monopoly.
That's exactly where you draw the line, right? Monopoly hotel. Don't be putting that's disgusting.
That's right. But all the beer and everybody sharing that cup, that's fine.
All right. It is time to get to the section of the show we now call the Morning Show.
That's right.
With our goofy stuff of the week, including the dumbest reasons people have become famous in the U.S. It's not like we all really need to rehash this. But, in the 90s, it was being on cable. In the 2000s, it was reality TV.
Right,
Then
yeah.
2010, social media came along. The 2020s, it's an influencer. So the list is from Ask Reddit. And it is the dumbest reasons someone became famous in the United States.
Okay.
Did you want me to just read this down, or do you want to try to guess a couple, fill in the blanks a little bit?
I don't know. I don't like the idea of guessing them, especially if it's someone recent, because I've been living under a rock. I don't even know who's famous anymore.
On purpose at this point, too.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
some of the
I'm
stuff out
okay.
there. Balloon Boy in 2009, the Balloon Boy hoax, remember that? That went
Yes,
viral?
I do remember that.
That is number one on the list. The dumbest reasons someone became famous in the U.S. There was a balloon, but the boy was at home in the attic.
Yeah.
So that's there. Hawk Tua girl. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. That was the worst summer of my entire life.
Yeah?
Yeah, just because I had to hear that everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair enough. It was everywhere.
Do you know the Island Boys who went viral on TikTok and got desperate for fame? That's what
Yes.
it's. I don't know who that is at all. What am I? You have a real shit-eating grin on your face, like, oh, you're stupid.
Because they're stupid. No, because they're stupid.
Okay.
When we get done with this, I'm just gonna have you
You're gonna
Google
make
the
me watch some
Island
of that?
Boys.
I'm worried then it's gonna keep popping up on the rest of my stuff and all
It
that.
probably will, but that's okay. You can just burn your computer.
Honey Boo Boo and just about every
Ew,
reality
gross.
TV star, right? The
Yeah.
dumbest reasons. Ew, gross. Yeah. The Catch Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil.
Oh, God.
That was another horrible summer.
Yeah, it was. It really was. I remember
I don't know what year
watching.
that was, but.
I remember watching that on Dr. Phil.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I remember going, "What the hell am I watching right now?"
So you were there.
I was there.
At the
I was
start of it.
there at the start. I
Wow.
remember that episode.
Ground floor in it.
Yep. And then she was everywhere, and it was just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. So then the next one is a fun chain. It starts with Kim Kardashian, who is famous for her father being one of OJ's lawyers, and the leaked porno with Ray J. Then the rest of Kardashians, who are famous with association with Kim. Then the Jenners, who are famous for association with the Kardashians.
Yeah. That whole chain. Goodbye.
I mean, yeah, that how is that not number one? Just that whole chain.
Yeah, I love to be able to say that I have never watched an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
And that's why I love you. That's why we're married.
That is A+ garbage right there.
How about Teen Mom?
You. No.
No Teen Mom either.
Teen Mom.
Good for you. Alex from Target's another one. I don't remember Alex from Target. Like,
I
that's
don't know who that
for me.
is.
The Teen Mom is on the list. The Teen Moms are on the list. Apparently, one lives around here.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Gross.
Yeah. I've heard stories from coworkers, right? Having 8 kids, or in the case of Octomom, 14.
Yeah. That's just weird.
Yeah, singing badly on American Idol. Eating a bunch of hot dogs is a good addition to the list.
Yeah.
Because really,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Joey Chestnut's a nice dude, but to be famous for being a pig, basically.
Yeah,
You know.
basically.
Smashing a kneecap before an ice skating competition.
Oh, yeah, that's one way to get famous.
Do you remember which is which?
No, I always get them confused.
So guess, because I love this. It's
Is-
somehow it randomly comes up every now and then where Naomi's like, which one was it?
Wait, Tanya Harding was the one that did the smashing.
Well, she paid the guy, yes.
Yeah, she paid the guy to smash the kneecaps. I forgot what the other girl's name is now.
Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah, that's right.
The whole, why me?
Yes.
Yeah, that was, all right. That was the 90s. Was there one more? Oh, yeah, scalding their crotch with McDonald's coffee. The person themselves didn't become famous. And by the way, I've recently read about this case, and that woman was badly, badly burned and
They were
scarred for life.
third-degree burns.
Yeah.
That's what the sigh was for, because I know the whole story behind
Nobody knew
that.
that in the 90s when it happened. It was
No,
just like,
because
oh,
it was
her.
like, she's so stupid,
Yeah.
coffee's hot, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, the coffee was so hot, it gave her like third-degree burns. I'm pretty sure she needed like skin grafts and all
yeah.
of that stuff. But they purposely made her seem dumb and all of that so that, nobody took this kind of lawsuit seriously.
Right, but the lawsuit did become legendary, so...
I'll get off my soapbox now.
Dumb reason. I'm with you, though. I didn't know that stuff until, earlier this year, maybe, or sometime last... I was reading about, because it happened again.
Yeah.
And the person that it happened to again... very badly, severely burned, not put some freaking balm on it.
Yeah.
But just, okay. Anyway, moving right along. George Lucas recently at a 45th anniversary. By the way, happy 45th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
One of these movies just got re-released, and I can't remember which one it is, but it destroyed at the box office over the weekend.
Okay.
Revenge of the Sith, maybe, or maybe they did The Phantom Menace.
I have no idea.
Anyway, they just re-released one, and I'm pretty sure it was one of the second trilogy, and it just crushed the box office, which just makes me laugh. Anyway, George Lucas was at a screening for the 45th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back and told everybody why Yoda talks backwards.
Okay, so there's an actual reason
There
to
is
this.
an actual would you have any guesses at all?
I don't know. I hope it's a good reason, though.
So I think it is, and it's a very simple explanation, but I also get the logic and what he's talking about. So he said, quote, because if you speak regular English, people just don't listen that much. And he said, but if you had an accent or it's really hard to understand what he's saying, then they focus on what he's saying.
That actually is a really good reason. I like that.
Right? And
yeah.
he continued on. He was the philosopher of the movie, and I had to figure out a way to get people to actually listen to what he's saying, especially 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
So if you have him talk like that, now you got 12-year-old kids repeating forever. Try not, do or do not. There is no try, right?
Yeah.
Hell, that was something. I got goosebumps thinking of that.
That's smart. It really was. That's good.
Right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Smart man.
Hell yeah. George Lucas and Yoda. That's awesome. All right, now this one, I feel like you're in the right mood for this because you're right on the edge of feisty.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to I'm the movie 300 and King Leonidas just kick you into the well with this story. Are you?
All right, I'm ready.
I don't think it's going to be that bad, honestly. I just wanted to use that.
Well, we'll
analogy.
see.
I got right into that, so I was just like, screw it, I'm going with it. Dude had his vehicle stolen. This is over in the UK. Brian, do you know Ewan? Ewan? How do we say that name? Ewan, right? Like Ewan McGregor? Yeah. Do you know Ewan? Am I saying that? Damn it. Ewan Valentine.
There you go.
So if Brian from England knows him, this will be even better.
That would be great.
I
Yeah,
kid.
but I highly doubt that.
36-year-old man in the UK woke up a couple months ago, realized his car had been stolen.
That sucks. That's a bummer.
It was a black Honda Civic, and he was gutted because he really liked the car.
Yeah.
We've probably all had a car we really liked, right?
Even if I didn't like my car, don't steal
Well, still,
it.
yeah,
I need
mean,
that.
Bummed, but if you really just like, damn it, I really liked that car.
Yeah.
So he was super bummed. So he reported it, did all insurance paperwork, but the car was never found, as happens, right?
Yeah.
So he went out to buy a similar car. Went and looked for another black Honda Civic that he really liked. Found one the same year and everything.
Okay.
Perfect match at a used car dealer. It was about an hour away from where he lived. And he bought it for it says $26,000, whatever that transfers over to in pounds or euros or whatever.
Yeah.
That's when things started to feel strange because it was such a perfect match.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, and here's where being lazy pays off, the dealership never detailed the vehicle.
Okay.
So there was stuff inside, like a piece from a tent, Christmas tree pine needles, and some candy bar wrappers. The debris didn't seem like trash either. He says it felt really familiar because it was his.
Okay.
Instead
it
of
was
dragging
his car.
this out over and over, or longer and longer, it was his. So, he said maybe everyone, has to build up like that in cars. Of course everyone does. He said, but even the same kind of candy bars he liked.
Yeah.
Tesco, right, Brian? Something about
That would be weird. I would just be like, hang on a second.
So here's what happened. He had already bought the car. He's driving home. He started messing around with the car's navigation. His bleeping address was
Was still in there?
as the home button.
Oh my gosh.
And his parents' address, because he had all these addresses in his vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's his car. He says he almost crashed, to be honest. First of all, don't be messing with your nav while you're driving. I just want to throw that out there. He says, but he was shook. He was totally in shock. His hands were shaking. His heart was pounding. Because what do you do? Like, what the hell?
I just bought my own car that was stolen from me.
Right? And it's crazy. So he took it to a dealership. It doesn't say it's the one that he bought it from.
Yeah.
But he took it to another dealership, which I think I would have done too. Don't take it back to the place you got it, because what if they're running the scam or something like that, right? So they confirmed it was his car. The VIN, the mileage, and of course the plates. Maybe that's a UK thing, but they had all been tampered with and altered.
Interesting.
But he literally, you know how, I don't know if you've ever gotten rid of a car or had a car stolen, you still end up with a spare key.
Yep.
Same key.
Wow.
So
what do you do there? Because, I mean, like, I'm sure you reported it stolen and it was never recovered. So you are going to get your insurance money for that. Did he just use his insurance money to buy back his car? Like, I want to know how the money part of this adds up. Did he end up in the hole? Or did he end up ahead?
We all want to know how the money, because it hasn't been solved yet.
Yeah.
Or, the situation hasn't come to a full close. So he again, when he had the same key, he was like, okay, this is, I mean, after your own address is in the nav system.
Yeah, you don't need more proof
and
than
like
that.
your parents' address and stuff like that. But then the key. So there it is. So he called the police, and he says they couldn't believe it either. So it sounds like the thieves did all the cloning work to change the car, but then just sold it to the used car place, which was also duped.
Yeah.
And he ended up with it. So as far as we know, no arrests have been made, and Ewan is still in the process of trying to get his money and deposit back for the vehicle.
Okay, so there is missing money in this.
So it sounds like it could be a happy ending if he's able to get his money situation sorted. Still, he says it doesn't feel triumphant. He says it feels like he's done something a bit stupid.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, I know
didn't.
it. No way, brother. That's not on you.
No, that's on life, man.
So how I feel like the first reaction is just to be pissed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this dude went the other way where he's
and was all excited. Hey, I got my car back.
This is crazy. So there you go. This original story, April 25th, from the BBC, Brian, if you want to follow up on that for us, if you happen to see a headline. Because
if you got any details.
Our news never follows up on the good stuff. They just want to give you enough to get pissed about it. And then
that's it.
Yeah, and then you don't get the happy ending finishing rest of the story. So, Brian, if you do see anything, not that you have to look, but if anything pops up.
But if you do happen to see anything.
I would love to get some closure on that story. Because isn't that just insane?
I think I'd be mad that I bought my own car back. I think I'd take it to the dealership and be like, I don't want this anymore. Even if I loved the car. Nope. I don't want it anymore. It's been defiled. It's not mine anymore.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, has it really been defiled if they didn't even clean it out?
Yeah, it was stolen from me. It's defiled.
Right,
I don't want it anymore.
Because now it just feels
Can you
tainted.
imagine, though, if it was cleaned, and then you get it back, and it's like, what happened to you? You're all nice and clean.
So what? How long do you think he would have gone if they had detailed it? If like the nav stuff had been taken out? You know
I
what
don't
I mean?
know. Maybe you just would never notice.
Because would he have even tried the old key?
No,
Probably
you wouldn't
not.
need to.
And then you just never know.
Nope.
You're just driving your own car twice. That's just crazy. All right, last week we Crazy. That's the nickname, Crazy. We were talking about nicknames last week, and that's what we wanted to know. What kind of crazy nicknames do you know about? Do you have? Have you been called? Did you call somebody? And did we have bonus points if you created a nickname?
Well, if you've got a good story, you'll get some bonus points.
So we had a bunch, and of course, I went full Jeopardy last episode and blanked because I was trying to come up with them.
Yeah,
and
that's
so,
usually what happens.
Thank you. Shout out to Filthy Kyle with probably the greatest nickname of all time.
Yeah.
Because he gave me a list of all the nicknames that we had in school, and I didn't make all these up, so the mean ones are, well, you just won't know. Anyway, so we had Bean. I think I mentioned Bean, my friend Brendan.
Yeah.
That started by his parents, I believe. So
Okay.
he was always Bean. Then we had our buddy Rick, who we always called Dick. It was fitting. We had Greasy. We had Grandpa. And I think they may have been the same person, honestly. There was Boner. There was Sven. There was Mogi. There was Fat Rick, who we also called Maple or Doughboy.
Okay.
So now you know what he looks like. Frenchie, and then like we would like Frenchie's last name was French, so he just became Frenchie, and then like Combs' last name was Combs, so he became Combsy.
Yeah.
And on and on and on and on like that. My buddy Pete, I started calling Peteness because it sounds hilarious. Shout out to a couple episodes back when we did words that are funny.
Peteness is one of those words for you.
Peteness, yes, that's correct. All right. I lost the Facebook page with all the answers. There it is. I found it. So I am just gunning for listener of the week here because of all those nicknames I forgot about that were so great. Or maybe Kyle is. Did we give it to Filthy Kyle?
No, you can't win listener of the week. I'm sorry. And Filthy can't either because he didn't actually put those up on Facebook.
Oh, well, he doesn't have Facebook.
Get with the program, man.
Yes, get with the program. 15 years ago.
That's right. You can leave your comments
Facebook
on...
ain't the program anymore.
No, you can leave your comments on lukeandnaomi.com
Or
as
YouTube
well.
where he watches. Anyway.
Yeah.
Paul Moore says he doesn't know how it started, but then when they were in high school, and so Paul and I are the same age, so this is well before Key and Peele.
Yeah.
He said people started calling his brother Aaron instead of Aaron.
And it just stuck.
And it just stuck.
Nice.
How about that? And then Paul says, truth be told, is better than my nickname, which I refuse to share.
So no points for that because you should have shared your nickname.
Paul, I want a DM.
Yeah.
A text. What is that? Paul knows not to tell me, though, because I'll call him that.
Yes, you
like,
will.
without even trying, it'll just get stuck.
Paul, you can tell me and I won't tell Luke.
So here's a little peek behind the radio curtain. Sometimes you'll know DJs forever, and their first and last names you think are their actual names.
And they're not.
But it's people with normal names. Like, I work with a guy whose radio name is Stanley B.
Yeah.
His real name is Frank Shepard.
Yeah.
You got to, so like...
It is what it is.
When I learned that was his real name, I just started calling him Frank now, and it throws everybody in the building off.
Yeah.
It's just goofy. So Paul knows if he told me. Anyway, still want to know, Paul. Still want to know. Juan says, boy, do I have some good ones. Haha.
Nice.
Nailed it. He says they have a friend named Top, like a spinning top, because they had a shorter leg. Okay, I don't feel so bad about ours now.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
He said Simba because of the whole father and uncle stories. Kind of self-explanatory.
Wow.
Okay, I mean, that is... Juan, like, you're just going to trick us and be telling us, like, The Lion King, or you're just naming movies and coming up with names?
Right.
Because then he followed that up like Harry, because Harry Potter, because they got struck by lightning and left with a scar.
Well, that I believe, because a lot of people have been struck by lightning.
For sure.
So I can see that being
And
true.
Juan's told us some pretty crazy stories in the past as well.
Yes.
He says Batman and Robin, that's self-explanatory.
Okay.
And then he says, granted, these are all named Juan like myself, but we've got nicknames for whatever reason.
I love it.
So, like, all Juans have nicknames, like all Erics. I don't know many Erics who don't have nicknames, except for the professional world. But, like, when
most Erics I've known that it's a nickname.
or last name,
Yeah.
something like that. Every Eric I grew up with.
Actually, every Eric, it's always their last name.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it. Yep.
Yeah. Because it's just such a vanilla name anyway.
Eric.
Shout out to all our Erics. So
Sorry. We love you.
His is Arturito, pronounced like R2D2, because he likes Star Wars and his grandpa name's Arturo. So it fit perfectly according to the group of individuals who gave it to him at the time.
That's actually really cute. I like that.
I do too. Nice one.
Yeah.
Nice. And then Mark D says, well, I know a biker who is Teabag.
Okay.
If we're going by which one made me laugh the most, it's definitely that
I think we
one.
have a winner there.
You're gonna give it to Mark?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he can have it.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Congratulations, Mark.
I still think Filthy Kyle should get it because he gave me a full list of everything I forgot last episode.
Sorry, Filthy.
So not only did he come with good ones, but he also, kind of called me out for being stupid and not remembering.
Yeah.
So that's all. I advocate for that one, but, it's your choice.
I'm sorry. It's going to go to Mark. You left pretty good at that one.
All right. Yeah, I know it. A biker named Teabag.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. All right. This week is this is a visual one. So if you're looking at the YouTube right now, you'll see the picture and you're going to have to go to there or something because we've got a picture of a fluffy little puppy dog.
I love the puppies.
Yes, but we're naming the puppy dog.
Okay.
The last thing you ate is going to be the name of the puppy dog. And apparently it's a boy. So his name is the last thing you ate.
All right. I like it.
For today, do you wanna name it? Because it's a good one.
Yeah. Our cute little puppy there is going to be named Famous Bull.
Famous Bull. Homemade Famous Bull.
But let's just call it Famous Bee.
Famous Bee. I like that.
Famous Bee, get over here.
Famous Bee.
Sit.
That reminds me of like Furious D, the horse from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I like it. Or Cosmic F from Futurama.
Famous Bee.
Famous Bee. I like it. We're off and running already.
Yeah.
If you're not watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify, check out the picture on Facebook or YouTube.
There you go.
We'll put it up on Shorts, or you can check out TikTok as well. It'll be there. Can't wait to see what everybody ate that we're naming this dog. And he's the fluffiest little puppy, too. So
it makes it extra sweet.
it is going to be, yes, when you look at him and you see Famous Bull, it'll make you, whatever the feeling is when you see something cute and also hungry, because Famous Bull.
That's weird to have those two feelings, but okay.
But why not? That's how I feel anytime I look at Taco Bell.
It's so cute, and I'm hungry.
That's right. That's right. All right. Congrats to Mark Delore. And now it's time I got to see if I can locate where I even stashed the button. Is this the correct button? Here we go. Buckle up. Oh, thank God.
I didn't think we were going to make it.
All right. Houston, we don't have a problem
Yet.
because, we haven't gotten to that part of the movie yet. So before we jump in, did you know all the famous people that were in this movie?
No.
Not at all.
No.
All right.
I had no idea who was in this movie.
We'll get to all of. Did you recognize the majority of them?
Yes.
All right. Wonderful. Take it away.
All right. Apollo 13 on episode 113, which is pretty cool.
That's mind blowing.
It is.
Did
it is.
not.
We
think
did
of that.
not plan that. Yesterday when we sat down to watch a movie, it was, I want to watch a story. That's what I was looking
Listen,
for.
if you've been listening to Luke and Naomi long enough, you know damn well we don't plan things out.
No, we try to, but
we try
don't.
to, but yeah, happy accident. Love it.
Yes. All right, so we get to see Neil Armstrong walk on the moon, and we're introduced to Lovell, Tom Hanks. He's like the brains behind all the the moon missions and all of that. Well, he's one of the brains.
At one point, they mentioned that he's got the most time in space out of everybody out of all the astronauts in the program.
Yeah.
I think we start in 69 then, right? Because, yeah.
Yes. Well, he's one of the brains behind all these operations. We meet his other astronaut buddies who are also hoping to make it to the moon. Lovell gets great news. He's been bumped up and he's going to be manning Apollo 13 and will be heading to the moon in 6 months. Which is very exciting. You know, Tom Hanks does it really well where you really think he's going to the moon. He's excited about it, but he's like an older professional. So like there's a little bit of that giddiness when something great is happening, you know. It's so well done.
And Tom is just,
So naturally, he has to do all the training, get up to speed for this adventure, even though he's already an astronaut, and he has been to space. We get Fred, which is Bill Paxton.
Yep. May he rest in peace.
And this guy, Ken.
Lieutenant Dan.
They're all on his team. As we get closer to launch day, Lovell's wife mentions that the kids' schedules are getting busy with school and she might not come to the launch, which isn't true, like the scheduling part. She's just scared, which I get, but it's actually really, really sad. Like, can you imagine your significant other not being there for the biggest day of your life?
Crazy.
It's terrible.
But she's been to other times when he went to space.
Yeah, but you're going to space. That's a big deal. Even if he goes 15 times, you better be in that crowd.
He has a great line somewhere in there about when she mentions the kids and their schedules or something like that. I don't know how exactly he says it, but he's like, these people have been around before.
Yeah.
It's just an awesome delivery and a great line, too, where he's just like, the hell are you talking about?
But she's already setting the groundwork not to be there. It's terrible. I mean, I get it. I get her being scared and all of that.
Wouldn't you be if I was going to space?
Yeah, but I would be there to see you off.
Yeah, that's, okay.
But the bad news keeps coming. Apparently, the flight team was exposed to measles, and now one crew member has never had them before, so they're worried he's going to get very ill while they're on their mission. So they're going to bump him and have a member of the backup team join.
That's right.
Obviously, Lovell is enraged. Him and his team, they know each other so well. They've worked so hard together. And they basically know what each person is thinking or what their next move is without anybody saying anything.
And they do a great job of showing you how that dynamic works when they're doing the test runs and the simulator and all that stuff. And they have that great rapport. You can see it.
Yeah. And it's so well done. And all of this is just falling apart 2 days before they launch.
Yeah.
That's scary.
It is.
That's some scary stuff. It's either they change out the sickie or the whole team gets bumped.
That's right.
So
that's yeah. And what do you do there? You're going to go to space.
Yeah. So they sub in this guy Jack, which is Kevin Bacon.
That's right.
He's going to now go to the moon with Fred and Lovell. And he needs some work. He keeps killing them all in the simulator. But they got 2 days, so plenty of time, right?
Plenty of time.
All right, so it's launch day or the night before, really early in the morning or whatever. A bunch of the astronauts' families come out to say goodbye, and Lovell's wife is actually there. She said she wasn't going to make it, but she shows up, which is just really sweet.
It is.
But then
it's a great moment in the movie.
Yeah, but then the next scene, she's taking a shower and she loses her wedding ring down the drain.
Oh, man.
And the panic and all of that. It's really sad. I mean, the emotions that this poor woman has been going through, I really can't imagine. And the fact that it's Apollo 13. And so we have this superstitious
she
factor.
mentions that too, right?
Yes. And so do some of the news outlets and stuff. Because
that's right, yeah.
While they're on their mission, there's a Friday the 13th, I believe. Or there's at least, they'll be out April 13th, while they're in space. It's going to launch at 1300 hours or whatever. There's so many 13s that appear with this.
Freaking everybody out. And then she drops the ring, and that is just like the two wrong seatbelts on Jurassic Park. That's in the original Jurassic Park. They're flying there, and Dr. Grant pulls out, and the seatbelts don't work.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not good.
Yeah, but
it's the beginning.
It's the beginning, yeah. All right, so then we have our getting ready for launch scene. This was so amazing. Like, it was so well done. It's quiet, but you've got some inspirational music playing in the background. Everybody's getting strapped in. You see all the many, many people on the team clearing everything for launch. You know, it's a moving, powerful scene.
It's
you
tense too, because like, you know, there's that little fear when they start putting their helmets on that you can see like their kind of trepidation just a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, they walk first. They take the elevator up that huge shaft, whatever, to get to the top part.
And they're just silent.
Yes, and then they're carrying their like oxygen like tanks or whatever with them, and you know, it's just they're sitting on all that rocket fuel and,
yeah,
and
it's
all
heavy.
that. It's very intense, but like it's very exciting at the same time. You know, it's like, yeah, they're going to space, and at this time, you know, there wasn't that many people who have been actually into space at this time. It's
Right.
1969, you know?
Crazy.
So it's a really, really well done scene. I was getting a little emotional, a little choked up
Awesome.
there. Yeah.
Good for you.
Launch goes well. The mission so far is going well. Jack has done, you know, big part of his work, has done well. The only thing that was rough was Fred getting sick. And at this point, I was like, oh my
man.
gosh, does he have measles? And he lied about having them before,
Yeah, right.
you know? And I was also wondering if the other guy ever gets sick, because it'd be really crappy if he doesn't, because he got bumped for that reason. But see, I don't know yet.
Well, that'll
I
come
don't
back
know.
around.
Yeah.
So when they show, and I mean, they just an excellent job of making Fred look so sick that it makes me uncomfortable every single time.
It's gross.
If you've ever been sick on a road trip, on a vacation, away from home ever, you know how miserable it can be. You could be in a hotel room, comfortable as hell. You're still miserable because you ain't home. Now go to space.
And have that stuff floating around.
Oh, my God.
That was so disgusting.
Oh, yeah, when he threw up when they first got up there.
Yes.
Yeah, that was terrible.
All right, so no longer smooth sailing, and I'm not talking about the barf. Jack went to stir the oxygen as he was instructed to, and something happened. A hose or something became detached. Parts of the ship seemed to loosen as if they may come apart. And now they have all these warnings going off, and NASA doesn't know if it's an actual problem or if it's the computer having issues. But, you know, we saw the hoses come out. We know there's damage that's been
Yeah,
done.
we saw the explosion.
And we know that there's a problem. We hear the famous line, Houston, we have a problem. Scary. Very scary.
Oh, yeah. Now, did you know that's what that's from? Did you know that was from astronauts at all?
Yes, I knew it was from astronauts.
Okay.
I didn't know if it was from directly this movie or what.
Situation, but that's where it's from.
Yeah. So they're losing power and oxygen. And it's clear right away they're not going to make it to the moon. At this rate, they might not even make it home. So now it's a rush to save all the power they can, move to a different spot in the ship, and just try to problem solve to make it home.
Yikes. I mean, just, they're all, you know, super intelligent human beings. Then you throw the fact on this really happened. Mm-hmm. So, like, having that go through your mind while you're watching this is just...
It's unbelievable,
yeah,
you know? Because, first of all, you're in a situation that nobody else has ever been in before.
Right.
This isn't something like, oh, okay, when this goes wrong, you just have to do this. You know, yeah, they had the simulator and they tried 8 million things that could possibly go wrong. But guess what? This is 8,000,001.
Right. And I've seen this movie a ton of times. I've, at one point, just really liked it, so I watched it a whole bunch. And every single time, the idea that it's like, you can't just, okay, pull off at exit 64. We'll be there to get you in a couple hours.
Yeah, no, there is no hope at that point.
It's
you know,
crazy.
you have a team on Earth and the three of you in space to figure this out. That's it.
And
nothing else.
I love Flight Commander Gene. I'm blanking on his real name right now, which is just, it's another Jeopardy moment. But, you know, he says, just work the problem.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
I don't care about any of the other
problem.
details. We just have to solve this problem here. And at this point, it's all over the news. I feel so bad.
Oh, yeah, for their families and whatnot.
Yes. You know, and
Ed
now...
Ed Harris. Sorry.
And now NASA is fighting. They can't agree on the best course of action to get these astronauts home. Some are yelling one thing, a bunch are yelling another, and it's just like, listen, we've got to pick a direction and we've got to stick with it.
Yeah.
And we're running out of time.
They do a great job of really kind of putting you in all the different mindsets, or at least, painting that picture of, like you're saying, there's this problem, but then there's also this problem, or there's this issue. What do we do? And,
What do we
have to go
focus
one
on
way.
first? What is most important? And how do we get them back home?
Yeah.
Because cool, you can save their lives and all that, but if they're just floating out in space, like, that's really crappy.
Yes.
All right. So NASA brings in Ken, the sickie that got kicked
Ken
off the
Lieutenant
mission.
Dan.
Looks like he's not sick, like I said, and it looks like he's going to actually be the hero to the story and save these guys. So he's been going in this simulator to try and figure out how they can get all these astronauts back with the lack of power that they have left. As of right now, they're not going to make it unless someone comes up with a good idea.
I love, and again, great story, but it really happened. That guy was scrubbed from the mission and wound up being the hero of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is just absurd. And watching them go through those sequences, and I am sure the real Ken Mattingly had the same amount of patience. And the way Gary Sinise plays that too, where he's like, listen, we've got to do it right. We'll start all over.
No, I want to meet the actual guy because I want to know when he got bumped from that mission and was just all pissed.
You gotta be
when
mad.
he found out what happened, if he was like, oh, thank God. All right, I'm on Earth. I will solve this problem. I will save their lives. But whew, I am so glad I am not up there right now. I mean, come on.
Right, yeah. Maybe a little of that and a little bit of, well, thank God that I'm down here because now I can help my friends.
Well, yeah, but thank God I'm down here.
Yeah, probably a lot of that, yeah.
All right.
It's probably in the book, too.
So, they've got all these problems. They don't have enough power to do anything. They're going to run out of oxygen. And now there's too much CO2. So they're all going to start getting sick if they don't find a solution. They need filters for this.
Crazy.
Team at NASA is working on it and finds a way to make a square, like CO2 filter, fit into a round hole. And now they're going to have to explain to the astronauts over their comm system how to create this filter based off of stuff that is already on the ship,
Two very similar situations. With Ken in the flight simulator, and then these guys go, here, you have to make this work, but,
But that's how it would go down.
Oh, my God, it's so cool. It blows my mind every time.
Hey, you only have these random frickin' items. You have to make this work. You have to MacGyver it all,
The steely-eyed missile man, that is a hell of a line. That's the guy who came up with the procedure to make the two things fit.
Yeah.
That's the one guy called him that, and it has been repeated. So I like
So
that.
anyways, they're able to do it. They're able to talk them over the comm system, what they need to do, all that. So now they're not going to die from CO2 poisoning. So at least they've got that going for them. All right, so now they have to work on the next problem, powering the engines on, and of course correcting, but without guidance systems. So Lovell decides to use the view of Earth from their window as their fixed object in space, so they know that they're heading in the right direction. After a few very scary moments, they are able to course correct. Good things keep happening. All right, we're moving in the right direction. Right. Now they need to power up their systems and have a plan for re-entry. And this is what Ken had been working on in the simulator. And he finally found a solution to work in the simulator that will get them to power up items in a specific order without losing too much power, but will allow them to re-enter. Also, Ken doesn't have the measles. He never got sick.
You really liked that part, I think, a lot more than... Not that you were supposed to, but you liked that part a lot more than I even thought you were going to.
Well, I mean, can you imagine getting bumped from the biggest moment in your life because you may get sick?
Is it in your notes what Lovell said to Mattingly over the radio?
About the flowers?
Yeah.
No.
He said something about, are the flowers blooming in Houston, Ken? And he goes, "No, Jim, I don't have the measles."
Yep.
Just like, it's such an awesome moment.
It is. So he never got sick, but it's a good thing that he was bumped because, again, now he's here saving everyone's life. All right. So they've powered up what they've needed to. They have made it through all these obstacles. Now they just need to re-enter. The communication system is going to go dark for 3 minutes, which is expected. But it's everybody's still scared. Is their heat shield still intact enough that they're not going to burn up on re-entry? All of that. There is a freaking storm where they're trying to land in the ocean. It's right like on the edge of what they're trying to land on, but there's still a chance. Like everything was working against them
And for 95,
this mission.
The animation of the ship coming back, like getting ready to re-enter the atmosphere, and they show it going over that huge cyclone typhoon.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, that's really good for 95. That's awesome.
All right, so we know the communication system is going to go dark for 3 minutes. After the 3-minute blackout, it doesn't come back on. This at this point has been the most suspenseful ending. Like, I know they're going to survive,
Did you?
Yes, I did know they were going to survive. Are you ready for this? I saw the last 5 minutes of this movie before and did not realize it until like halfway through this movie. And I'm like, oh, I know what's going to happen.
Is that like
here.
the first time that's happened?
I think so.
All right.
But I think you've had it on before, and I have come in at the end of the movie. So like I remember them, getting out of the capsule in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. So like I knew they were going to be okay. But the suspense was still killing me. I'm like, are they passed out in there? Like, why aren't the comms back on yet? Like, this is kind of driving me nuts already. Just be rescued.
Just be rescued already.
So then we see the capsule on the screen. We see the 3 parachutes guiding it slowly into the water. Rescuers standing by, ready to pull them from the capsule. It was such a like happy moment to see them, and it's a movie. I know it's based on true events and all that. It's a movie, but you're so excited for them. Yay, they're home and safe and all that. And all I could do was feel so bad for Lovell because he never got to walk on the moon.
Because he didn't get to walk on the moon.
That's all you want to do. He was so giddy in the beginning of this movie, and he never got that opportunity. That's heartbreaking.
When they were up there, and they realize and all that stuff, and he just refuses to look out the window.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
That's so heartbreaking.
You can tell, like, that's not what I came up here for. I didn't come up here to look out the damn window again. That's a bummer. Yeah, for sure.
But they lived, so it's a good thing.
Heck yeah,
a good movie.
Heck yeah. All right, is that the extent of your notes?
That's the extent.
Apollo 13. All right, so I doubt we get points for saying the name of the movie in the movie.
No
That's
points.
Just too easy?
Yeah.
All right. Did you like it?
I did. I liked it a lot.
Liked it a lot. Mm-hmm. All right. Where does this one rank among the ones that you've liked?
I would say definitely top 20. I would say probably top 10 for ones that we've watched.
All right. And we're going to have a Naomi's like top 5 or 10 lists coming soon to the YouTube channel and possibly the website. So that stuff will be coming up too. That's why I want to know. But
yeah,
I'm
it's
super
definitely
glad.
up there. It was a really good story. I like the space stuff. It's very interesting.
It is, right?
And it's crazy to think, again, the list of people who have like been in space and been to the moon and things like it's a small list,
Yeah.
And to be a part of that history, that's crazy.
You know what'd be cool is to interview an astronaut.
Yeah, it'd be real cool.
Have you ever done that?
Yes, I have.
What astronaut did you interview?
Chris Hetfield. He's from Sarnia. He has some crazy videos, I believe. I'm sure he's got them on TikTok now. But he had a bunch of crazy videos on YouTube because he was always doing goofy stuff. And I'm not positive.
You talk about on like the ISS and stuff.
Yeah. And just he had some great stories. Like he said, it's like magic being up there. I don't know. It's really cool.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. So I doubt we have any cringe level in this movie.
No, there's no cringe.
That's cool. Did you like it? You said yes.
Yes.
What did you know about Apollo 13 heading into it?
I had to ask you if this was a true story or not, because I didn't know.
Okay, so not that much at all.
No.
All right.
Listen, I knew about the moon landing in 1969. Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. That's about as far as my space knowledge goes.
And they kind of touch on that in here because, by the time that they're up, the TV networks don't even show it and all of that
they don't care
stuff.
anymore.
Yeah, and
It's old news.
I almost said I hate to do it, but I don't, because The Simpsons reference that too. The episode where Homer goes to space is they send up 2 fat slobs because that will make people watch the space launch again.
Yeah.
For the first time in years and years and years. So, all right, your thoughts going in then, because you didn't know anything.
I don't know. A space movie. It's going to be fun.
You were just looking forward to some space stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I talked to an astronaut once. This should be a good one.
That's right. Exactly how that went down.
What surprised you?
I don't know. I don't know what really surprised me. A lot of it, finding out what parts were, true and all of that.
The measles thing?
The measles wasn't surprising. It was just there.
It was just there. All right. Would you have liked it more or less if you saw it when you were younger? Like 18.
Meh. Probably wouldn't have cared that much.
Probably not as much as now, right?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
Well, them getting back safely is, really important.
That's a good one, yeah.
When they call Ken in to save the day and all that.
I think because the Ken Mattingly stuff, when he shows up to start with the sequencing and help work the problem and all, I think my favorite part is actually when he gets on the comms with Jim. And Tom Hanks does a great job of making you feel some relief. Like, he doesn't say anything. Oh, thank God it's you, Ken.
Yeah.
But the way he's like, Ken, good to hear your voice or whatever, but you could tell it's like, oh, thank God, because I trust him more than anybody else in that room, and all that stuff is just really cool. So that's probably, like with that Ken Mattingly stuff, I could see how you would like that. What was your least favorite part?
Well, probably when everything started going wrong. I felt really bad for them. Like, I cannot imagine. Hey, it's the 3 of you in space, and your spaceship just fell apart. Like, the chances of you getting home are slim to none. And you may float out into space and just die. Like, that's horrific.
It is.
And how could you not just be flipping out in that tiny little thing with 2 other people next to you?
Well, they started to.
Yeah, but they, maybe they did it for the movie and all of that, where everybody kind of held it together, at least decently so, because...
Well, again, they're the real people were highly trained, psychological testing and all that, so hopefully it didn't get any worse than they put on the TV.
Yeah, I hope not, because I can only imagine.
I know. So the vomit in space part was not your least favorite part?
Nah.
You're
No,
okay?
I think
You're okay with that one?
the spaceship ripping to pieces was a lot worse than the vomit.
That was worse? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Would you recommend it to someone else who hasn't seen it?
Absolutely. It's up there.
Watch it again?
Yes.
Stop and watch if it's on TV.
Yeah.
Are you happy you watched it?
I am. I am.
And it's from 1995. Does it hold up?
Yeah, absolutely.
It does, because it's set in the past, right? So I think that helps it hold up a little bit, too.
Yeah.
All right. Well done. Love the review of Apollo 13. Glad that you enjoyed it as much as you did. You get into like the historical stuff and serious stuff, and JFK. We've done a couple of those where it can be a little bit more monotonous than it is exciting, but I guess this one has its moments.
This one was very exciting. I mean, throughout the entire movie, there's just a lot going on, and I think space travel and all of that I kind of put on a back burner, but I do think it's something that I'm very interested in. Like when you just mentioned about like, well, have you, interviewed an astronaut? I forget that I got that opportunity,
right? That's
and
one of my favorite things.
How amazing that call was, because our news director, Bill Gilmer in Port Huron, he was like, hey, this astronaut is from Sarnia, call this number and see if they've got any interview spots left. It was like a shot in the dark. He's like, just call it. See what
Yeah, right.
happens, you know?
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
You
It was
never
one
know
of
if
those.
you don't ask type situation.
And all of a sudden, the next day, I'm working and I was filling in on another station, and somebody's calling the news line for me. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, nobody knows who I am.
Right.
And it was whoever the press to, schedule all of this stuff. And they're like, well, we don't have a single slot for you, but you can be on this group interview if you would like. And I was like, oh, yeah,
That's
please, And it was just really cool. It was a cool experience, but I forget those things. And I forget about, that stuff is really interesting to me because, you don't think much about it. You look outside, you see the moon, cool, all of that. But,
right.
Hey, people went up there, There's an American flag up there. That's
right.
cool.
It is awesome. Right on.
Let me get off my soapbox now.
Well, we'll have to see if there's any other space ones that you haven't seen. I am the same way because as soon as we were done with this, I turned The Martian on with Matt Damon.
Yes, you did.
I just wanted more of people trapped in space.
See, I don't like them being trapped. I was glad that this had a happy
That's
ending.
why Apollo 13 and The Martian are very similar, actually.
They are very
it.
similar.
But that's why I like them because work the problem, get it done. Oh my God, the crazy, just hopelessness of the situation.
It makes
right
me very
around.
uncomfortable, but then it also makes me go, wow, my problems really are small.
All right. Getting philosophical as we wrap up Naomi's Under a Rock review of Apollo 13.
We are.
Okay, good one.
Well, we can stay down that same route. It's time for Thought of the Day.
Thought of the day, thought of the day. It's your thought of the day, thought of the day.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, God, no.
This
you kind of freaked me out.
This one's really going to make you think. So grape soda is always purple, which completely ignores the existence of green grapes.
Well, then wouldn't it just be clear?
Well, it could be clearish green,
Clearish
a lemon
green?
lime color, but really it's grape soda.
I mean, like sparkling grape juices. I'm glad. That one wasn't as heavy as you.
No.
I got nervous there because sometimes those things just ruin me for days.
Yeah, well, I thought that was a good one.
Absolutely.
Luke, you gonna leave us with a laugh?
I'm going to do my best. I got my stack of dad jokes cards here.
Okay.
Saving Brian's book for later.
Okay.
Just for when I run out of these cards. Let's see what we got. A couple of these here. Why did the coffee file a police report?
I don't know.
It was mugged.
That is stupid.
You should know. Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock-knock joke?
No.
He won the Nobel Prize.
Oh, come on.
Is the pool safe for diving? Hit deep ends? That one's more of a visual, but it was in my hands. So
I get it, and you did a great job reading it, but it's still not funny.
I've just been diagnosed as colorblind. That certainly came out of the purple. That one's just for Paul Moore. I love a good colorblind joke. That was wonderful.
Yep, that was great.
That was a good one.
Yep.
All right, that's episode 113. Thanks for joining us for as many as you've joined us for. We definitely appreciate it. And we will be back for 114. We've got to do the Doors at some point. I wanted to get that done because, we lost Val Kilmer recently. So I don't know if that's what we're going to do for next episode, but that is high up on the list. We've also had some requests for Ernest Goes to Camp.
Yep, that's up there.
That's up there too. And of course, we have an ever evolving, growing, morphing list that just really it won't stop growing, which makes me happy. I'm glad.
Yeah. We got a lot of movies that we've done. We've got a lot more to go.
That's right. Don't forget to let us know the last thing you ate is now the fluffy puppy's name.
Famous Bee.
Famous Bee.
That's right.
I love that. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Just hit up Luke and Naomi on Google. You'll find us. If you Google Luke and Naomi,
we come up.
We absolutely do. LukeandNaomi.com, by the way, if you haven't checked out the website. Until next week. Until next time. Same Luke and Naomi time. Same Luke and Naomi channel.
Wow.
Have some fun this week and be excellent to each other.
Love you. Bye.